everything's okay. Let's join our live screen. Might hear a little bit of background noise because Thomas Woodcarver's doing a little bit of work in the background there. Still showing that we're not live at the moment, but this is telling me that we are live. So, we'll have to figure that out as we go along. I'll just try on here again. As you can see, we're set up. We've got a spoon in the vise. As we go along now, I will explain everything and let you all know what's happening. We're not live at the moment, but this is telling me. There we are. So, we are live. Right. Yeah, so first live stream we've done in a little while. This is because we've had a competition. It's been run a few times, a few years we've been doing this one now, with one of the colleges in South Wales. They run a Lovespoon competition, and one thing that they always ask us to do is to do a live stream showing how we make the spoon. So that's what we're doing today. They've chosen to have this Lovespoon made in a piece of mahogany. And this is their sort of winning design. Quite often what happens, I can see a few are joining us, so thank you very much for joining us. What often happens, see, is that we get sent these different designs when these competitions run, and they have to be practical to be made in wood. So one of the first things then that I'm working on is to actually make this design practical to be made. So yeah, we quite often have to adapt it. It's something, any of you who are interested in working in wood, one thing that you have to have is strength. So that's usually the big issue, is have we got enough strength in the design itself? So that's where we have to adapt it. And there's little things like, for instance, quite often people put these very elaborate, seems to be a popular thing to do now. I don't know if people think, because it's something they don't see very often on a Lovespoon, they quite often put very elaborate carvings inside the bowl. And it's just not practical. So we have to adapt things to make it more suitable, to make it more practical, to be made in wood. This is something very interesting as well, because I know it's becoming popular to, for instance, design on the computer. Very interesting actually, because a lot of talk with AI and how technology's taken over everything. Yeah, it's really fascinating for us that the computer quite often is completely impractical. So when it comes to working in wood, and actually making something. Oh, look at this. Hello to the carver. Hello, sir. Hope you're keeping well. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, we're doing a live stream for a competition winner. It's been a while. And it's back on a Monday as well. So there we are. We'll have to do a few. And who we got there? Chris. Hiya, Di. Good to have you back. Yeah, hello, Chris. Yeah, so great. Great to have a few familiar faces with us. That's fantastic. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, so this is, what we came up with. Very interestingly, as I said, we got another competition that's running, and that's what they did. They said it's fantastic. They designed it all on the computer, and I said straight away, it's all over the place. It was the design that the computer had come up with. It just wasn't going to work. So it's very interesting for us and for yourselves, Chris, the carver, different people like that. Very interesting for you to know that whilst there's a lot of talk, in terms of technology and how us as, woodworkers, wood carvers, in some ways it's as if we're in some ways obsolete. Our experience is that we're anything but the computer. It hasn't got that sort of practical sense to understand the material that it's actually working in. So yeah. Enough on that side of it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get into this. What I've done is I've prepared this one in a nice piece of mahogany, and I'm just going to go through the carving and show everybody how we're going to carve this particular example. Same processes as we always use. We're in our 50th year, 50 years this year as a family workshop, and nothing much has changed. We use a scroll saw, but other than that, yeah, we very much stick to doing the carving the way we do it. Now, for those of you, well, for everybody really, because you may not remember it, we take the bulk of the bowl out using a router and a template. And then after, beyond that then with the router and the template, we then hand carve it out and then hand sand it. Anybody wondering why we use a router and a template? It's just to reduce a little bit of the pushing that we have to do. Just looking on here, because what it is I'm focused somewhere about here, just seeing if you can see it clearly enough. I think it's not too bad where we're carving it out. So what we do, see, we can use the gouges to get a little bit of sort of shape going on our bowl. We shape it all round, and then afterwards, see, once we finish carving it all, we'll then hand sand it. So what happens, for everybody to know, with these competitions, quite a few of the colleges in and around Wales, they've started cottoning on to the fact that the Lovespoon is a fantastic tradition. It's something that's sort of unique to Wales, originating from here in Wales, despite other claims, but we do claim it as a Welsh tradition. And they're realising that it is a good way of getting students to learn about design and making and that sort of thing. I'll be honest, our only thing we would like the colleges to do is in some way get us involved in helping the students and explaining to them, you know, when you're designing, there's two things that we're always looking for when we're designing. One is the story and the message that the Lovespoon tells. So that's why we like this one in particular, because I sort of go through the message and story that we saw in it. And the other thing then is making it practical to be made in wood. And that is a big thing for myself then, because a lot of the time it's just not practical when people are, you know, they come up with these ideas. Looks great on paper, but when it comes to actually making it, it's a different story altogether. So, as you can see, we got this shaped around. So we've got a nice shape, and we got the depth that we want on the bowl. If you're getting into carving as well, and you're starting out, or you want to start out, you know, you don't need things like the route and the template to get started. You can just use the gouges just to shape everything from scratch. Takes a bit longer, but it will do the job. Right, so we're still on there. And the other thing as well, we use a scroll saw. So we cut the basic profile with a scroll saw, but if you need to, you got that one there. You got the coping saw. So cheaper way to get started. A little bit more challenging in some ways. Possibly for myself, because I just don't spend a lot of time working with the coping saw. But you know, it does the job. Right, let's get into it. So the story, we've got entwined hearts. So we've got the entwined hearts here, and then we've got the keys. You've got the key to the door, key to your heart, key to life, all sorts of different meanings with that one there. We then got these two daffodils. So daffodils, hope love will blossom, continue to blossom, and then you've got the cross at the top there, faith, your belief, that sort of thing. So yeah, all sorts of different ways that we can use them. Right, let's have a little look. What we're going to do is to start off with our stop cuts. So those stop cuts just go down into the wood like so. So we're going to do a couple of stop cuts at the bottom of this heart. And you can see this particular gouge is not sort of the ideal shape for doing this particular stop cut, but it's close enough that we can, you know, sort of pinch a little bit as we shape it around. So we do that stop cut there, and then we come across the other way. Whilst the carver's with us as well, I saw some nice photos, doing some nice work there with the, what do you call it, the gun stocks. Some nice, yeah, lovely work. We're checking that out, if anybody hasn't seen that. And yeah, nice to see you doing some woodworking. So you can see we're marking all of that out like so. So that gives us our first stop cut. And then from here, see, we're just going to get a little bit of depth into that stop cut. So use that stop cut as a barrier to cut into, just like so. Just like so. We shaped it on both sides. And there we are. And this one here, it's a nice piece of mahogany for carving in. Not the best piece I've ever worked in, but certainly suitable for carving. certainly does the job for us. So we keep working just into that stop cut, just like so. Right, so once we've shaped that bit, come across the other side, carry on shaping that. There we are. Now the question is with this, how are we going to go about it? I think what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to shape it all into the, that back edge. Yeah. So instead of have a dramatic cut like I'd done originally, we're just going to shape that all round so it'll sort of gradually fade into that one there. Fun and challenge. Yeah, what wood were you using? Just out of interest. It looked a nice job. Fair play. What wood were you using there? It may well have said in the descriptions with it, but I didn't see it. So apologies if you did put it on there. I thought it was some lovely work. I was too busy admiring the work. Let's have a little look. So what we can do as well, see, we gradually shape it in like so. We can use our sandpaper just to also sand. This means that we don't have that sort of dramatic change in angle for this particular piece, this particular part. Let's have a look. Just a little bit of the dust away. Yeah, I'm happy with that. It was rock maple. That's interesting. So what's the difference between rock maple and conventional maple as we know it? There we go. That's an interesting one. Have you heard of that before, Dan? Thomas Woodcarver's in the background here, he is listening. Have you heard of rock maple?
It's something like...
A hard piece of maple, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'd have said. So, we're familiar with that one. Also called curly maple. Yeah, I've heard of curly maple. I've heard of that.
I think like a bird's eye maple.
Well, there we are. Thomas Woodcarver's asking, is it different to bird's eye maple? Because, yeah, we've had that one as well, bird's eye maple. Also known as curly maple. I have heard of that. I've heard of curly maple. I'm not so familiar with... this is what happens, see, you refer to different wood with different names. Right, so we've got a little bit of sanding done on that. And then the first part to sort of working on the actual shapes itself, we got this twist on the stem.
Am I allowed to speak?
Of course you are.
Because you know I'm very controversial, aren't you?
Well, as long as you're not going to start on one of your rants.
Okay. No, are there students watching your...
I'm not 100% we've got any students joined us, but we've got a few familiar faces.
Okay. What time are the students supposed to be?
Oh, they've known, the college would have known about it. What, have you got some help and advice for students, have you?
Well, yes, because...
Similar, both requires the tools to be kept very sharp. Yeah, spot on.
I don't know whether the students, realise the...
Design. It's not as easy as you think, isn't it?
Well, not so much the design, I'm thinking the material that we're using. You're talking about the maple.
Yeah.
It is the most interesting... Well, obviously we're biased. It's such an interesting material.
If you look at that one there, they can all see you.
Okay, well, it's so interesting, the different... You were just talking about maple now and the different little quirky sort of names. And the wood, the trees around us, it is so interesting. I mean, the Lovespoon subject is an excellent one to develop because you're learning about the skills and the different things.
Well, I was explaining this, with like the computer.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny, isn't it? The everything now, the modern world and modern society thinks the computer's the answer to everything. And we very much discovered this month that it isn't.
Yeah, and you know, the different timbers that we come across, like, you know, I mean, a spoon went out this morning made of jarrah or yarra.
Jarrah.
Which came in...
Jarrah, the Australians always correct you.
Yeah.
I don't know why you call it Yarra.
Well, because we don't pronounce the J in it, I think. Is that what it is?
I don't know.
Yeah, you know, I've heard different people pronounce it in different ways, but it's a fantastic material. It was brought into our country as sleepers for the railway, and especially a certain part of the railway. It was where there was a crossing, for instance, and there was traffic. Apart from the trains going over it, there would be vehicles going over it as well on the crossings, and they used Yarra, whichever, because it was so much harder, and it was able to sort of sustain the wear and tear. So it is such a fascinating subject, like, you know.
I'm just going to pause a second here. I'm just admiring my own setup here. What do they say? Pride comes before a fall. But I quite like the picture, yeah. I'm quite liking the picture. So I hope that's coming across to everybody, because there you go. It looks quite nice on there, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's quite a nice angle to see the carving.
Nice and nice spoon, yeah.
It's coming along, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know, as well, one thing with this, there's another thing with these design competitions that for me is another thing that doesn't get appreciated. There was a simplicity about this one. That's something. There was a little bit of a simplicity about this. And this is another thing that I think doesn't get appreciated now when it comes to design. Like, people want designs and things like that very complicated quite often, very fussy. There's a beauty. There we are. Carver says focus is perfect, likes the two screens. Good stuff. Yeah, simplicity it's quite often not appreciated now. That's what I really liked about this design, is that it was nice. There was an elaborate sort of feel to it, but there was an element of simplicity to the idea as well that really appealed to me. But unfortunately, again, that's not often appreciated. We've had a number of competitions though set up. I know down for the first time in a very long time, we had we were involved in getting a school going with the competition, which was great. That was our local primary school with where my two boys are. They did a Lovespoon designing competition. And we haven't heard back from it, to be honest with you, but I know they definitely did it in the school. And so it's great, because hopefully that gets another generation interested. We went down there, we did a demonstration of carving, we explained all about the spoons. So that was a fascinating morning. That was, what was it, afternoon? No, it was an afternoon. We went down a Monday afternoon, and that was fascinating because some of the kids, they were really interested in it. When you think of all the like computer games and stuff like that they're also interested in, it was nice to see how much interest they got in it. And I think younger generations do get underestimated in terms of how interested they are in carving and things. I know that with the boys, when their friends come across and things like that, they're always interested in what we do, and they always want to see what we're doing and how we make things. Here we are. Right. So as you can see, this is coming along. We're well on our way with this design. We're working now on the daffodils. I'm going back to it. 50 years. I think I mentioned it. 50 years our workshop has been in existence. Tim List. Hello Tim, thanks for joining us. Here we are, we're just doing a little demonstration of the carving. Any questions, anything you want to know, let us know, and we do our best to answer anything you might want to know about. 50 years, so Thomas the Wood Carver, let's have your 50 years highlights.
Oh, wow.
What do you remember of your first year when you started your workshop in 1975?
Well, lady up the road, Mrs. Cole, she gave us 6 months.
6 months? She thought 6 months he'd be out of business. That was a positive prediction for him.
Mainly because it's in such an area that...
We're out in the countryside, aren't we?
in the countryside, it's quite remote. However,
And this morning we've had a couple in from, were they Maryland? Maryland, is that right?
I think so, yeah.
I think that was where they were from. So they were from Maryland. Oh, and then we had 4 Italians in from, what's the island down the bottom? Is it Sardinia?
Oh, crumbs.
The city Calgary.
Sicily.
Calgary, or is it Sicily? Sicily.
Is it?
I think it is.
Oh, that was good. I remember that.
Sicily.
That's good.
What did I say? Sardinia. I tell you what it was. We were talking about the language. Sardinia is the other island, isn't it? They had the 2 different islands going. Yeah. Yeah.
There's something we haven't done before. We haven't played it up at all. But the road outside, we should sort of point it out to people. You have to turn the cameras on and show it, because this road is the
You always introduce something that's going to be awkward.
Well, no, it's fantastic.
Look, you're half off screen as well.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. Why do you want me to show the road now?
Well, because this particular road...
Are you going to tell the Oliver Cromwell story?
Exactly. It is the road that
Oliver Cromwell would have marched down this road.
Marched down this road?
He'd have marched his troops down
Yes.
when he went to Pembroke Castle.
So if we'd have been...
And a local bit of trivia is there's a place called Step Aside.
Yeah.
And that's where Cromwell marched his troops down and met the local troops, and they stepped aside and let him through.
Yeah, see, so
With regard to design, I agree with you. The feedback I received on the rifle stock was to study historical patterns when creating designs. I started with a simple design, but was asked to add more. New follower to us, interested in making spoons? Commemorate occasions. Perfect. Love spoons, perfect for that. Yeah, we use them to record all sorts of occasions. Well, any questions you got about it, Tim, let us know. Let us know, and more than happy to answer. Now that's a really interesting one. Oh, the student who designed the spoon, along with her class, are watching for Colleague and I always get it wrong. Cumoedd. Is that? I hope I've said that right. Colleague
Can I
Cumoedd.
have a look at this?
No.
What's the word?
That's fantastic.
Colleague.
Thank you for joining us. Hope you enjoy seeing Lovespoon
No, wait,
coming
I
together.
pronounced that as
Cumoedd.
Cumoedd.
There we are. Cumoedd.
I don't know how...
But it's your neck of the woods, isn't it? Because it's up Mount Garrow.
Yeah.
Taff's Wellboy, yeah? There we are. Taff's Wellboy. So Thomas the Wood Carver.
Yeah, that's where I first made
Back in 1973, he moved from Taff's Well to Colden, just outside Kilgetty, and started the workshop here.
And my first love spoon was made in Taffswell.
You going to show everyone? Pass us the spoon so they can all see. There you
Well,
go.
that's a replica of
There
the
you
one,
go.
because we keep the one in the house, don't we?
Let's get it right. If we go that way round, there you go. That's Thomas Woodcarver's original. Well, the replica, as he said, the original's in the house. But to give you an idea with this one, look at the simplicity of it. A heart, his own initial, because he used this as a proposal of marriage. So if Mum had said no, he could have used it again. See, practical. Always thinking. But it's. Can you see? It's that simplicity. It doesn't. And this. There's. I saw a story in this one. That's why I thought it was fantastic. You've got that. You got the idea. The key. I'd be interested, there we are, because you said the students watching. How far off was I with the story? So we saw it. They got the idea: key to your heart, key to life, key to the door, all sorts of different things like that. Entwined hearts. You got the idea: the hearts come together. The flowers, you hope love will blossom, continue to blossom. There we go.
There's the original.
He's brought the original.
And you can see the take that off there. You can see the
There we go. And I will come back with the carver as well.
You can see the naiveness, really, of the spoon, because
Well, when you finished it, you just drilled a big hole in it.
I just drilled a hole in it.
Yeah.
And that's you know, that's what sort of typical then of.
They want to know, did you see Cromwell march through?
Dear me. Yeah, it's a good. No, but there's plenty of cannonballs around here.
There's a better one than that. Mum was a teacher, and was it Boadicea? Boadicea, which is thousands of years old. It was either Boadicea or it was a story she was telling the kids about the Bible. And one of the children asked her, well, how do you know that? And one of the other children replied, well, she was there, wasn't she? 2,000 years ago.
So what I've done, the reason they different colours look, and this is what happens with the timber.
They get a bit messy, don't they?
So I've cleaned this one up because it's been handled so much in the workshop.
Tidied it all up.
But eventually the sheen will come back on it as we polish it, but you can see the sheen on this one is slightly better.
Now here we got the carver on here as well, saying with regards to the design, I agree with you. The feedback I received on the rifle stock was to study historical patterns when creating designs. I started with a simple design, but was asked to add more. And it's interesting. I just think perhaps it's me, but the longer I sort of go on, the more I appreciate the simplicity. Yeah. Getting a design right, I think you can overthink things, you can overdo. It.
But with that, as you look at it,
you have those so I can carve.
Yeah, simple. However, when you turn it up, you can see that the heart is raised.
Well, they can't see it because.
Sorry. You can see that the heart is raised. That?
So there's a lot of carving on.
Yeah. So.
Oh, here we go. We got Kerry Richards, proud parent of the student. Brilliant. Oh, look, it's Kerry Richards spelled the same way as yours.
Well, good.
County Kerry.
Yeah.
There we are. So, fantastic. Well, it's not.
I'll hang that one back up.
It's and again, thank you all for joining us. We got you. Yeah, Chris said Flongavarthi, are they? No, this is the thing with design, and this one, as I said, for me, it really stood out because I felt this had a story, and that's what appealed to me. Is because I always think that a Lovespoon. Yeah, there we are. The carver said you can see his race. Good. This is why it appealed to me because I felt it had a story, and it was as a Lovespoon. I got it. I understood straight away. You know what the designer was getting to. I think you've got. I mean, we don't get me wrong. There was some lovely designs, and we've had a lot of designs come in this year from all around Wales, and we've seen a lot of really good work. But I think this one, you know, there's a lot of potential
it's
through that
interesting,
because
isn't it?
The design was well done.
It is a bit about a relationship.
Yeah.
And something clicks.
Yeah.
In a relationship. And it's the same with a spoon, isn't it?
Give background on this one here. We were sent 5 designs, and as soon as I saw the 5, bang! This one jumps. This one, because we got 5. What happens now? We get sent. We were sent the 5 attachments, and this one then bang! It jumps out off the page for me. The reason for it is because that story, and then you, as you said, you had that simplicity to it, but also. It just had that. It just worked, and the order of things. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, but whilst that's your view, and
that's right.
Our opinion, okay, that doesn't mean to say that the other 4 we were sent.
No, not saying
for
that.
somebody else, that may be more relevant.
Well,
and that's the nice thing about this tradition.
One of the things when we are looking at these designs, I'm thinking I got to make this. So there was some beautiful artistic work, but that's what's always in my head. And in the future, for anybody who might be watching this and has got that opportunity to enter a competition with it, that's what you have to sort of bear in mind, is to stop and think about, right, somebody's got to practically make this design, and so that's what you've got to think about as well when you're doing it, is the practicalities. And that's difficult because that's a lot of time and a lot of experience goes into
because
learning.
I would have another slant on it, because I would say you're not designing your spoon to necessarily win a competition.
Yeah.
You're designing that spoon for yourself or for somebody else that you want to give the spoon to. So that's the nice thing about the Lovespoon. It's so unique. You can express all sorts of different things by just sort of doodling away, developing and designing your spoon. And that's,
I think it's a nice idea with the competitions and things like that.
Oh, it's good.
But one thing I'd love introduced as well would be a little bit of only a few sentences just to explain what's the story of your spoon.
Yeah.
I'd love to know some of these different spoons. Just a few sentences just to say, look, the inspiration for this, the story behind it is, and to really know what that sort of thinking is. For us, it's an important thing. Yeah. And as I said, I'm looking at them as well, and I'm thinking, well, this is the design. You know, there's Lovespoons up in the National Folk Museum in St Fagans. They're hundreds of years old. Like this one now, if it's looked after, it's got the potential to last in the same way because of the way it's designed and made. So I'm looking at those sorts of things as well. So I've got a competition. Is it the Earth? No. A lot of there's a lot of the colleges now throughout South Wales. Noted actually, with the exception of our college locally in Pembrokeshire, which I did explain to them, but they're not doing anything. So Coleg y Cwmoedd, they're the original ones that started doing this, and now there's different ones in Gwent. There's one in Bridgend. There's a few different ones. They're now starting their own competitions, and it's a really good idea. So in and around, create something that pleases you, and in turn will likely please others. Spot on. Yeah, absolutely. So these competitions are starting to, there's more and more of them developing, and it's in and around, you know, sort of between St Dwynwen's and St David's Day.
I'm going to throw something else in the pot now, Dave.
2 seconds. And so because these competitions are you know, sort of happening in the colleges, what we do is we do our best. We make a winner. So that's what we're doing today. We'll have to run hours. Do you remember we did a lockdown competition? And we had all sorts of different categories in it, but because everybody was stuck at home, we did a competition where they had the opportunity to design their own Lovespoon, which people did. Right, what did you want to...
Watch this space, and there should be another competition coming out because we've been here 50 years, so we may do something.
Our 50 years Lovespoon competition.
Oh, it was that one.
Right. There we are.
Because it may be relevant for people, the fact how precious time is. That was the
theme for that one,
then. The design of it.
There we are. If you take that one there for me so I can carry on carving.
Yeah, and we made that from it.
There you go. Little bookmark we did to accompany it.
Time is a precious gift.
It is.
And, you know, how else can you express that then? You know, there will be people, the time is so important then.
Absolutely.
And that's why, you know, the Lovespoon, it's capable of expressing all sorts of things then.
Now then, as we've got some students with us as well, we'll just go back over the methods that we use, because wood carving now can be a bit of a mystery to people because it's just not something that you see very often. So you'll notice what we do is we put whatever we're working on, we put it inside a vise, and you can see we've got our vise lined with wood. That's so we're not bruising the wood then as we're carving it. And then we're using a process where we do the stop cuts. So the stop cuts are where we cut down into the wood. So we cut down into the wood, and then we use that stop cut as a barrier. So we cut into into that stock cut that we put there. And that's wood carving. Things that you need for wood carving: you need good quality chisels and gouges. And then when it comes to advice, because the problem we have now, see, we used to have people come into our workshop and we let them have a go and we teach them how to use the tools and how to actually make things in wood. Too many rules and regs in modern life, I'm afraid, so we're not able to do that any longer because of all the health and safety and risk assessments and insurances and all that sort of thing. So we can do it, you know, through our YouTube channel. Oh, you're welcome, Chris. And so we can demonstrate it, but we always say anything you do is at your own risk.
Can I
and so what we're doing with this is it's basically, you can see both hands are behind the blade and we're cutting away from ourselves. So that's the process that we go through.
Can I jump the gun as well? I know, just in case somebody hasn't got time to watch the finish of the one you're doing, we use the shellac to finish the spoon. So I'm just gonna, if I can point that into the camera, just to show people that we put 2 coats of shellac to finish the spoons as well. And that's something else that, as they're making their spoons, some of them can be just left without any finish at all, but we like to seal them just to bring out the colour of the grain
and the character.
But for anybody that you know, has to go, hasn't got time to see the end product of this, which you will hopefully shellac. I'm just going to shellac this one, Dave, just for anybody to get the idea.
Well, you're on the main one there.
Yeah.
So you're on the main. You're on the small camera there, so you can see what you can see Thomas the Woodcarver doing there is he's just adding the shellac there.
This is the second coat.
That,
this is the second coat that I'm putting on here now. We use a very fine, like a flower paper. Some people would call it sandpaper, glass paper, whatever. Because the first coat will raise the grain and it would give you a rough sort of feeling. So we obviously want a nice smooth finish to the spoon, and also to enhance the grain and the character of the wood. So it's very simple.
You're on that one there, see, because what it is, I'm on that one then, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I'm on that one. I'm just finishing the, I'm just putting the second coat on, and then we'll decide then afterwards, do we need a third coat or can we just wax it? And again, everybody will have a different preference to how they finish their work.
We get asked now, one thing that we get asked more and more often is, do you add colour? So do you paint and things like this? And again, it's a bit of a flat no always from myself, because
but again,
the
it's
wood
a personal
colour
thing.
Yeah, the wood colour, because we're carving them and finishing them more sort of in a traditional style. Adding colour is again, it's more of a modern thing that some people do. So for myself, it's not something that we actually do. But there's no rule, there's no reg, there's no right or wrong. You can finish them however you want to.
And it's the therapeutic idea. You know, you're looking at the timber, you're seeing the grain, you're seeing something different, the colours and all the rest of it.
Yes.
It is so...
It's a process to enjoy.
Fascinating, it really is.
Here we are, and you're going to have to, by the look of it, move that Lovespoon.
Okie dokie.
Because we just had somebody pull in. So we've got somebody coming to the workshop now. And so he's got a Lovespoon, a rather large Lovespoon, blocking their way. So that will have to be.
That's the first. That's the second coat now of shellac.
Here we are. What it is, see.
There we are.
There we are. So I show you all there.
Okay,
That's what Thomas Woodcarver's been doing. There we go. So that's the spoon that he's been shellacking there. But hopefully we'll get time to show you again.
I'll show you what.
Right.
that, I got that.
Yeah, you got that one there.
Cheers, Dave.
There we go. And you've just got to move that love spoon around so they can get through. There we go. So, we continue. And we're just carving. We're carving it all out.
Yeah, good. Come in.
Right, come in. I got some American relatives over here.
Yeah, we're just in the middle of a live stream, but you're more than welcome. Have a little look around and yeah.
Just move this out of the way so you can, move it around a bit easier. Wait a second now. Oh, boys, oh, boys.
Yeah. So you can see we're just shaping it all round. We're just demonstrating. This is for it's a competition winner from Colleague Cwmoedd, and we're demonstrating the process then of how we make their love spoon. So they've designed it, and then we're showing them all through. So you can just see now we're getting all of those petals. So the petals done on. There we are. There we are. So we're getting those. There we are. So we're getting those petals on our daffodil. And we've got. It's that process as we're going along, just shaping everything, and making sure that we add nice little bit of detail to the daffodils. So let's have a little look. So we're just shaping that middle one there. We're also going to add a little bit of detail. Do you want to explain a few of the different spoons?
I'll explain a little bit about it.
There we are. Some of you may not have had an explanation as well of the spoons, so I'm just thinking you could if you want to explain some of the spoons, because you're on that camera there.
Okay.
I can carry on carving. Hopefully that will be alright with everyone in the live stream. We can, Dad can explain a few of the spoons. Right. So let's have a look.
So, if I start with it, am I okay with you, Dave?
Yes, so you'll be on, where are you now? Let me see. You are, you're in the background.
Okay.
And then everybody can hear you on there. So Thomas Woodcarver's just going to explain a few of the spoons. You'll be able to hear him.
Now, the tradition of carving love spoons, it originated here in Wales, and it dates back to the 17th century. Love spoons were carved by young men, usually when they were courting, of course. Once the spoon was complete, the young man would offer the spoon to the lady he was courting, and if that spoon was accepted, it was regarded as a token of engagement or betrothal. My first attempt at making a love spoon was this one, back on the day of the investiture of Prince Charles. 1969, it was a holiday in Wales, so I spent my day carving the spoon, offered the spoon to my girlfriend. Fortunately, she accepted it, and so this is our first engagement spoon, 1969. I realised that you could use your love spoon to record different events. Right? So what we have in this room is a spoon for every year since 1969, recording personal events, but also more general events as well. So what I'm going to do is to explain just a few of the spoons to give you some idea about.
One question I got as well.
symbolism.
Where did you say everyone's from?
Well, we're from the States.
Whereabouts?
Florida.
Florida, yeah.
Yes.
Because some of the people who are with us in the live stream, there's the carver he goes by. He's out in Virginia. He is.
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. With our live streams, we quite often have people join us from all over the US.
So this one, as you can see, is dated 1971. So this was the wedding spoon, right? So we got the bells at the top. Well, they're made out of brass, which is unusual. Normally the spoon is just always made out of wood. And then of course you got the birds on their perch and a key and a 21. Because in our country, you used to get the key to the door, you became an adult at 21. It's changed now down to 18. So without realizing, we record little bits of history with our spoons. So that was for 1971 the wedding spoon. And then we go to this one. Over the years, we've obviously learned different things about Lovespoons, and you find what we call links. And links and these seeds generally refer to the birth of children. So in this case, 2 links, 2 seeds, our second child. So we've got Matthew on the first one. There's a spoon over there with a single seed when Matthew was born in 74. Benjamin was born in 1977, hence 2 seeds, 2 links. A crown on the side. A big celebration that year, 1977, a long time ago, the Queen's Silver Jubilee. That was the big event that we recorded. The wood that I used at that time was mainly teak, but you can use any wood to carve a Lovespoon from. There aren't any rules or regulations. This particular one, as you can see, it's got 2 sides. I pointed over there, I don't know whether anybody can see it on the camera. Yeah, no?
Straight on there.
We're okay. It's got a picture of the sun on one, rain on the other. 1984, in the news, Bob Geldof, concerned about the problems in Ethiopia. They were having a drought, and so he and other pop singers started Band Aid and Live Aid the following year. We carved the word grace on a cross, given the interpretation for the word grace as God's riches available in Christ for everyone. How do we receive God's riches? We
Open our heart.
open our hearts.
Peace.
Is there a music box in that?
Yeah.
And plays. Know the tune? Amazing Grace. And you've got the double piece then. In the sun. And there we go. Now, if I can get a screwdriver, I'll do this one around the corner here, folks. This is usually screwed to the wall, so we very rarely take it off. Because of where you're from, I thought it would be nice to do this one. Can you work anything from this?
It's not religious.
Yeah.
Christian.
How about this shape at the top?
Apple.
Apple?
Big apple. The river. Oh, the tower. I see it still now. Now I see it.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
So, it is quite emotional.
Yes.
Yeah. So, we've got the Big Apple, the Twin Towers, September the 11th. We've got a central pearl representing God, and you've got 6 symbols from many religions of the world all seeking the same goal. But of course, it was the second time that America was attacked. You have Pearl Harbor, and then you have September 11th. So, hence the waves for Pearl Harbor and pearls around the spoon, with a central pearl representing God, and 6 symbols from the many religions of the world, all seeking the same goal. So that was for you. There was one for you
Yes.
to record something about whatever happened. Diana, okay. What's the one? Choose England's rose. Then you have a lemon tea, a drop in the ocean, like your Mother Teresa passed away as well. Same weeks as Lady Diana. So that one represents 1997. So every year we make a spoon to record something about the events. And it's just a nice way to record the Lovespoon different events. Why a spoon? Well, mixing and blending the two parts together. That's what we think the Lovespoon is so developed for. You're welcome, Mama. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Here we are. So yeah, a little bit of a, for anybody who's not familiar with the Lovespoon, then hopefully a little bit of an explanation there from Thomas the Woodcarver. Thank you for that, Thomas the Woodcarver. On some of the different spoons that we got in our collection. So hopefully interesting for the live stream. As you've probably noticed, as he's been explaining that, I've been continuing to carve on with this one here. So what I'm doing a lot of now is just that extra shaping that needs doing. Just using the different fingernail gouges that we've got just to add a little bit of a bevel, just to shape the edges, shaping all around. And then we're going to finish off. The main thing that we've got to finish off is the top of this Lovespoon. So we're through a lot of the actual sort of a lot of the bulk of the work. It is done, and then it'll be a lot onto then the finishing. Got a fair bit of sanding and shaping I'd like to do. What I'll probably do though is to do a first coat of shellac, and then I'll do the sanding after the live stream, and then between the sort of first and second coat. But we'll see how we get on. You'll also notice I've shaped the top. Little practical things as well that we always do, where for instance, you can see where we have this little bit at the top here, you know, for actually hanging the Lovespoon. So again, we're always thinking of little practical things when it comes to, you know, anybody getting into making and designing Lovespoons. Always have a little bit of a thought for practical side of things, you know. So quite often you will see people designing Lovespoons with asymmetrical sort of shapes on the top and things like that, and that's all well and good, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's not to say that it's wrong, but I always sort of try and think of the practical side of stuff as well. Right, so onto these daffodils, getting these finished off. What we've got is a little bit of shaping on the bottom of the trumpet, like so. Same, just bringing that up just a little bit, just like so. Same on this one, bringing that up a little bit like so. There you go. There we are. Right, so we just shape that like so. And then a little bit more here, just on the end of the trumpet now we're working. And once we've done this, we then shape it all. Sorry, we've shaped it all. That's the first part of the process, and then we add all of that detail to it. And I'm going to finish off. I'm going to shape the bottom of the cross as well, because it's as well to do this, because if I do slip when I do that, then it would affect the finishing on the daffodils. Right. Okay. Turn it back round. And let's add the details, I think, now to the daffodils. So the first thing we do, we just add like almost like a little hole using the gouge, the end of the trumpet. There you go. Same on this one, just like so. There we are. So a little bit of detail, just like so. 1 and 2. So we've done the 2 holes in the trumpet, in the end of the trumpet, and then after that we'll put a few little lines just to add a little bit of extra detail. There we go. We're going to do all the little bits of detail just like so. Just adds a little bit more character to our daffodils. That's what we're trying to do. So Once we've done this, that'll finish off the work on the daffodils, and then we're on to the final part of the design. And there we are. Final part of the design. There we are. Right. So we've got the cross now. There we are. So just doing the side of the cross there, and the other side of the cross as well. And what we will do, finishing off, we go all around that side, those sides there, across the top, add in all this extra detail. Other little practical things when it comes to making the spoons, think about the direction that, if you're going to have a go at making them, think about the direction that you actually make the spoon when it comes to the wood. So what you'll notice is that we're using a vertical grain, so you're carving it sort of top to bottom. I remember the first time viewers think of how easy made it that look. It's one of those things, as you know, it as same as yourself, because we're used to doing it. Yeah, we've had plenty of people come in the workshop and said, "Oh, that looks really easy." That, and it is. It's one of those things where you know what it's like. You just get lost in the process, and you don't think about what you're doing. You just carry on and enjoy the process and enjoy doing what you're doing. And I tend not to think too much about what I'm doing as I'm carving. It's only if I hear that funny little clicking noise of something going wrong, where the grain is split or something like that, that's the only time that I tend to stop and think, oh, what's happened now? Other than that, we just relax and enjoy that process and enjoy working in the wood. So let's have a little look, little bit of shape on there. And one thing as well, Thomas the Wood Carver, he's putting some initials on the other side of the bench. I'm going to need a bit of shellac in a minute, if that's possible.
Yeah, I'll leave for you now.
So we'll shellac this one for all to see. It's good to know as well all the equipment still works, because it's been a little while since we've done a live stream. That'll be famous last words now, something will happen. But not nice to do a demonstration.
I'm chisel is over there.
There we are. Right, so shaped along the sides, shaped along the top. I just want a little bit more along the top, like so. Yeah, so when it comes to that marking out of the wood, two reasons we mark out with a vertical grain. One, it makes it easier for the carving. So if you've got a nice vertical grain, it's easier for you when it comes to carving. And the other reason then that we mark it out, it's stronger. I'm sure it isn't easy, but it's a pleasure watching this done. It seems if I could attempt this, but I need some smaller tools. Yeah, having the right tools for the job, definitely important part of the process. You want the right tools, and then you want the right wood with that, as I said, with that grain running in the right direction as well. Give yourself every chance of being able to do the job successfully. That's what it basically does when it comes to, you know, the tools and the wood itself.
Try carve boot sales.
There we are. Thomas Wood Carver saying about carve boot sales. I just noticed you got your back leather in now, see?
Sorry.
No, it's none of this. He's working on a job there, doing some initials, personalising the spoons. It's got to be done. And he's working on the same wood at the moment as myself. He's working on a piece of mahogany there. Yeah, when it comes to the tools, we're working mainly in vintage wood carving chisels and gouges. Simple reason for that, the quality of the steel is a lot better. So they hold their edge for longer. and generally they cut better. What I'm trying to get now, just trying to those fine little details on the cross, because we want it as close to being symmetrical on both sides as possible. I know all these CNCs and things like that, those things are popular now, but I still think I give them a run for their money in terms of being able to do it quickly. As I said, we enjoy that process. Let's have a little look there now. A little bit more out of there. A little bit more there. And to the person as well who designed this Lovespoon, all I can say is I've enjoyed making it. And that's a big part of it. You should be able to enjoy what you're making. Because some designs we do ourselves. Sometimes they seem like a good idea, and when you come to make it, you get a lot of headaches. It's not straightforward, but this one here has been a nice one to make. Let's have a little look. There we are. Right, a little bit in like so. There we are. Yeah, that's all right. And then we need to, the last couple of cuts, washing and picking up on the technique, what I'm trying to do. Brilliant. Yeah, I mean that's the thing, Tim. It's a lovely process, and enjoy it. That's the key. Enjoy it all, because it's a lovely material, and it can. They reckon the more sort of. Was it Len Evans when he wrote his book on it, and he said that he said about when you're making your Lovespoons, you should be. I think that some of the language he used was a bit old school, but it was very much you should be very relaxed, and it should be an enjoyable process. If it's not, it'll reflect more in your finished Lovespoon in the carving that you do. There we are. So, last little bit there. Have you got the shellac there for me?
Yeah, I'll get after you now. I've got one
Brilliant.
number to do on here.
Here we are. So we're just carving around the top of there. Just like so. So as much as possible, we're working with that grain. What I got down here, I'm going to turn the wood the other way around, because when we go to do that, the grain is running in the opposite direction. So you're constantly, that's what you're doing, see, with the carving, constantly trying to read the grain. It's the same. That was the year we opened, 1975.
Just get the shellac today.
Yeah, so 50 years this Easter. Right, let's turn him around and finish these last little bits of detail off. Just got a little bit in there. It's just where that grain starts going in the opposite direction. If you start to feel resistance, turn it round. Remember, slow and steady, and steady is fast. Yeah, spot on. Take your time and watch how the tool cuts. Be spot on. Wise words from the carver as always.
What did I do with the shellac?
The shellac,
Oh, no.
you disappeared over there with it, I think. Yeah, wise words. Enjoying. That's one of the big keys. And you'll get your challenges and difficulties and things like that, but enjoy the process of working it out.
Shellac has been.
I learned to carve, as I demonstrated a few times on the channel. I'll demonstrate one now actually to finish off. I learned to carving 5 petal flowers, so we're done with that. I know I've done a few before, but I always enjoy carving them, so I show you how I learned to carve myself. We go back to, as we're doing a lot going down memory lane with the 50 years of the workshop. It's a combination of skill and super sharp tools. Yeah, oh my god, it's a complete utter rubbish. Yeah, it doesn't help then, because you don't have it in centuries of experience. Yeah, but that's the problem with it, is that if your tools, it's such a disadvantage. I've done over the years. I did demonstrations with that where, you know, carving with difficult tools and demonstrating whilst it's possible, but it's impossible at the same time. There's Bournemouth, yeah, I found that, yeah, that's right. You're right, spot on, Chris. Hasn't got the character, but for learning, yeah, things like basswood, line, they're great. Okay, so little bit of sanding. Very quickly sanding. I'll probably do some more off the camera. So what we're doing, see, is we're just trying to round things off. Round everything off. Shaping it all. There we go. Oh, it's a nice piece of wood for sanding. And again, I know people would look at this and say, oh, you know, you should be using a block, but the truth is, because of the shape of it, I want to round it. I don't want those flat edges, so I'm well aware that yes, it will be following the contours of my thumb, but it's necessity's mother of invention. It's what we need to do to get the finished result that we're looking for. Right, let's do a coat of shellac on here. Thanks, new to carving, and I am enjoying it a lot. Brilliant. Making each cut shallow, keep from chipping. Yeah, spot on. And that's what you'll find. The more you carve, the more you'll learn. You know what works,
You may want to show that as
what
well.
doesn't work.
You know, if anybody's interested in developing, then
Oh, there we are. Thomas Woodcarver's showing. Wanted me to show everyone that one there, so you can see that's the process. That's a Lovespoon there that we started for somebody, and you can see there's the seeds. And then you've got the link in there as well, so you can see the process and things like that. It's time consuming, but you develop a lot of skills as you go along. It's one of those things where it's enjoying that process, enjoying the material. Anytime things go wrong, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. One thing I forgot to do, see, is to do the inside of the bowl. Just didn't sand that one out. Like so. So where I carved it out at the start of the video, we've sanded and shaped it now. Sanding and shaping it like so. Let's have a look. Right, so. Plenty of shaping. Now the one thing I do use the block for is to sand the back of the bowl. This is a very, very quick demonstration of how we sand. But it's all part of that process of making and all part of the process of finishing. There we are. So that'll do. That'll do for the first sanding. And now we're on to shellac in the spoon. So we use shellac sanding sealer. First coat, main thing you're trying to do is to get the shellac all over everything and inside. You'll have to excuse it dripping on the floor, but we're trying to get it into the inside of the spoon. I don't particularly take too much care myself, so you'll have to excuse that. Not on the first coat. Second coat and the finishing coat, yeah, I tend to go a little bit more. Let's have a look. There we go. There we are. Always a nice part of the process where you start to see it all coming up. Exactly what I'm doing. Venturing into some maple. Yeah, woof. Big difference you'll notice between maple and things like, you know, the basswood, the lime and stuff like that. That's very much going from the one end to the other end there. So a different sort of challenge, maple. A lot harder. There's in between, you've got things like oak and mahoganies and Teak's a nice one. Don't underestimate teak, because a lot of people think it's going to be really hard because they say it's tough as teak. Because it's full of teak oil, it's a nice one for carving, despite its reputation. Right. Need to get a little bit more in there. That's what you're trying to do with the first coat, see, is to try and get the shellac into as many of those little nooks and crannies as possible. Okay, let's have a look. So there we are. That is, let's have a little look. That is the Lovespoon after its first coat of shellac. There we are. So that's after the first coat of shellac, so we just turn it up like that. Hopefully you can see some of the detail on there. We'll just show it once more vertically, just going down like that. We're going off to the side a little bit. There we are. That is our Lovespoon like so. As I said, to finish off, because we made some good progress on that Lovespoon, I'll leave it there while that first coat is drying off. And to finish off, I will show. I recently got some cherry. Oh yeah, I'd start with the cherry out of those. Cherries, yeah, as the carver said, spot on again. Nice wood and good fun to carve. There you go. Right, so to finish off, for any of the students who are still with us, if you're thinking of getting into wood carving, this is how I learnt to carve. A key ring. Reason for that, they were offcuts, so Dad didn't want them. Little offcuts. And now the first thing I noticed that he's pinched one of my gouges. Where's he gone with it? There it is. Right, so the first thing, this would be the quick demonstration, this one for you all to see. No, you're welcome, Tim. Any questions, as I said, you're more than welcome. Get them in and we'll do our best to answer any. Right, how I learnt to carve, because wood carving is all about stop cuts and then using that stop cut as a barrier. So, stop cut in the middle, just like so. And then we're going to go all around the outside.
They got it.
We go one like so. And then two top ones, two tops for the next two, just like so. And then two on the bottom, one like so. And then the final two. And the reason this is such a good carving is because doing the petals, it develops your eye. So your eye improves as you're doing them, so you get more symmetrical. You've got those stop cuts where you cut down into the wood, and then you use those stop cuts as a barrier. So this is the exact design, a simple 5-petal flower that I learned how to carve. And some of the things that happen where this goes wrong, you can pop a petal. So you've got to learn what to do when to pop a petal. Well, all you do if you pop a petal, you match all of the other petals to it. And if you pop the center, you just got to carve the whole thing deeper. So there's a solution to the problems. And that's why it's such a good carving, this one, to learn how to do. And over the years, myself and Thomas the wood carver, we must have carved a meadow of flowers. What do you reckon?
You're probably right there.
You reckon when, you know, I always thought that. Do you think you'll see your life's work? You understand? Huh? And you see all the things I don't know whether it'd be depressing or uplifting, but we must have carved some. How many mountains of chip-ins do you reckon we've carved?
Well, a few.
God, blimey heck. I dread to think how much sawdust we've created. We've enjoyed it, that's the main thing. And it's nice being able to share it with everyone too. There we are. Well, like so. Finish it off, we just tidy up in and around the centre. And that is a very quick demonstration. But for those of you, as I said, learning wood carving, and those of you interested in wood carving, That's the one. If you can perfect a simple 5-petal flower like that one there, you'll go a long way.
Yeah, because you go on to the daffodil next.
There we are. Brilliant. Have I missed anything there? No, I think we're there. That's fantastic. Brilliant. There we are. That's the demonstration. That is our love spoon that we've created with the help of the student who originally designed it. Fantastic job that they've done on it. Some lovely designs.
Put the shellac on.
We put a first coat of shellac on.
Yeah,
you
it'll
see,
come much brighter than that.
It'll come up better than that again. Once it's got 3 coats on there, it'll have a nice sheen to it. But yeah, good job. Well done for everybody who entered that competition. Thank you all for joining us in the live stream. And yeah, we might pop up soon again. Hope you all have a great week. Thank you all. Thanks again.